I'd spent probably the better part of 20 years looking for the ultimate pen and the ultimate cartridge and that kind of idealized writing experience. And once I had the opportunity to try a Mont Blanc pen, it basically changed my world. I fell in love with it immediately because it was clearly so much better than anything else I'd ever used. I'm a product designer and a fabricator, but today I'm here because of this pen. This pen is different because it's built around the Mont Blanc cartridge, which is the best cartridge in the world. The entry level for a Mont Blanc is like $325, and it goes up to, a few thousand. And for me, I'm interested in the writing experience and not so much whether my pen is plated with platinum and studded with diamonds and that sort of thing. I want it to look cool, but I don't need all of the rest of that. I need a satisfying and beautiful object that writes really well. The way that I look at it, it's actually more than a Mont Blanc because it's more unique. The Mont Blanc, it's like a felt tip, but the tip is very firm so it doesn't break down or something like a Sharpie does. But it flows much differently than a ballpoint, and it's actually a lot more similar to the way a fountain pen writes, and so you can vary the line weight with the pressure in your stroke, and it just looks a lot nicer. It makes my handwriting look good. So I found the perfect cartridge, and at that point I knew I wanted to build the perfect pen around it. A pen is a tool, and I have lots of tools, and I always like tools to perform well. The ultimate tool for me is one that I guess basically I enjoy using every time I use it. And a good example is I have a hard-hinge lathe, and every time I turn it on and run it, it just makes me happy. And you can't say that about a lot of objects. So my hope for the pen is that it's going to be something that every time you take it out, you're going to be like, yeah. So this pen is a classic three-piece design, which means the cap unscrews, and it can be attached on the back. And that's going to give us the right length and weight and balance. And the cartridge is removed from the front. It's a very practical design, it's very functional, it's simple, and that's what I like about it. So one of the main reasons I love working on the hard-hinge lathe back here is it is phenomenally precise. And I just love to use objects that work as well as they possibly can, and that is an example. And what I would really like to do is take that precision and that quality and put it into a pen. When you're making a thread, it's two pieces that mate together. If it's just one piece, it doesn't really matter how big it is, but when you start putting two pieces together, it really magnifies the importance of everything fitting together properly. So 1/1000th of an inch will make the difference in whether the threads feel just right or whether they're too loose or too tight. Making pens is really similar to making a flashlight. The big difference for me is that a flashlight has a certain shape where it makes me possible to do most of it on my CNC mill, but a pen is so thin and long that just doesn't really work. And so the way I've done it up to this point is on a manual lathe, which means it takes me hours to make a single pen. And I mean, that's the biggest headache. If I want to make more pens, there's no way I can do it by myself on a manual lathe. So my main obstacle at this point is it takes me about 8 hours to make one of these. Now, if I want to deliver you guys a bunch of pens, I need to be able to turn that around and make 8 an hour. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is with a CNC lathe. This is a CNC lathe. Basically, a CNC lathe is like having a shop full of 15 employees. A CNC lathe is going to allow me to program in all the dimensions for this part. And basically, it's going to allow me the same precision as I get on the hard-hinge in much less time. I can spend a lot more time and energy designing the best pen rather than bending over this old manual machine and breaking my back. So Kickstarter, please make a pledge. support the analog, and it'll make a huge difference to me, and I hope that this will make a huge difference to you too. Support the analog, feel awesome.